Ozsports FM, broadcasting from the hub. I'm Henry, and we also have Darren here.
Yes, it's a very good morning, and to our listeners and to Henry. What have we got on the show coming up today?
So today we'll be discussing quite a big weekend sport. You don't have to have the Aussie rules or the rugby union around to have a packed schedule. So far we've got the Australia versus Pakistan cricket test match, the conclusion of the Matador Cup, yesterday's Cox Plate race at Moonee Valley, the Asian Champions League final, League One, occurred last night. Melbourne Victory played Melbourne City in the Melbourne Derby last night as well, and another sporting event also, the Australian Kangaroos in the Rugby League played New Zealand at Suncorp Stadium in the second match of the Four Nations tournament, and we'll conclude with yesterday's gridiron results in South Australia.
Yes, so as you can hear, listeners, it is a pretty packed show, so let's get right into it. And we're going to talk about the test match between Australia and Pakistan happening at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when the test match first started, it looked like Australia was going to have a fairly comfortable time of it, with Mitchell Johnson taking 2 early wickets to have Pakistan at 2 for 7, but ever since then it's been pretty much Pakistan the whole way. So currently we sit with Pakistan having about a 400-run lead, with Australia already 4 wickets down in their second innings. So we've probably seen that the two biggest differences have been the ability for Pakistan's spin bowlers to really take advantage of the conditions, and so far Australia's bowlers, other than Mitchell Johnson, have really struggled to really have any sort of impact at all. Obviously, especially in the second innings, with Pakistan at one stage being like 1 for 260 runs. So, both Nathan Lyon and Stephen O'Keefe have struggled quite a lot, and you compare that to Pakistani spinners in Bar and Shah. Both of them have been pretty deadly with the ball. So Bar's taken 2 for 22 in the second innings, and Shah's taken 2 for 8. And Australia's bowling figures haven't been anywhere close to that. So I think that the bowling attack of both teams have been fairly different.
Exactly, and Australia's run rate is also quite low, because they're currently, their run rate is 2.57, so they're very, very low.
Yeah, I mean, especially Pakistan's first innings was very slow going. At one stage they were going about 1 run over. So Australia looked like they had a good hand of it in the first innings, with Warner and Rogers being fairly steady. But as soon as those two were bowled out, everything started to crumble pretty quickly. So in Australia's first innings, they had let's have a look at the 4 wickets. So at one stage they were number 128 and ended up losing about the next 6 wickets within the next 120 runs. So after Rogers and Warner fell, everyone started to lose their wickets fairly quickly.
That's right, because currently Sean Smith is on 3 off 17 balls, and Rogers is 23 off 77. This partnership's made 10 from 37.
Chris Rogers and Steve Smith are in the that's okay. Currently the crease, but you'd have to think once with 4 wickets down already, after Australia need to hold on basically and just try and play out a draw, but losing 4 wickets within the space of about 5 runs last night, I can't see Australia holding on to escape with a draw.
No, I'd have to agree. But the thing that they've got our summer coming up very soon, it's not really setting them up really well for our coming summer of cricket.
No, it's probably a bit concerning. I think the skill level of the English side last year might have possibly shown Australia's skills maybe a bit higher than everyone was really expecting. They did perform pretty well against South Africa last year. Earlier this year. But since then, some of the one-day results haven't been all that great, and obviously, the bowling attack of Nathan Lyon, Mitch Marsh, and Stephen O'Keefe have not exactly set the world on fire. So Mitch Johnson has been okay still, but even with his pace, because of the slow conditions of the wicket, he hasn't really been able to take advantage of that either. He's been easily Australia's best bowler, but even his performance hasn't been great.
No, it hasn't. No.
So obviously, Australia will want to turn things around in the second test, but at the moment it's not looking the greatest for the Aussies. So it's quite interesting, not necessarily on the field, but off the field at that test match with being played in Dubai and having very small turnouts at the stadium. Like the stadium probably holds about 25,000 people, but so far, Allen, even Saturday was pretty poor as well. But first 3 days, hardly anyone turned up at all. So obviously being played in a neutral venue, not ideal for the Pakistanis who would like to play at home, but the conditions back in Pakistan are pretty probably too dangerous to play international cricket there.
Yeah, I was going to say, very volatile over there, so they have to come to a neutral ground.
So obviously Australia want to have a bit more zip with their bowling in the next test match and be a bit more threatening with the ball, I guess. So even the batters probably not all that great, considering they were only able to score 300 on a pitch that was fairly flat as well. So
Okay, going on how they're going at the moment, take your presenter's hat off and put your Australian selector's hat on.
Yeah.
Who would you leave out and who would you maybe bring in for the second test?
It's difficult because of the fact that all of Australia's spin bowlers, even Nathan Lyon, he's been pretty solid, but at the same time, he's had periods where he certainly hasn't been able to have the same sort of conviction that a lot of other spin bowlers around the world have, being able to take wickets when they're really crucial. So you could say that there are a few other options available, but I'm not really sure if they're going to be any better than what Australia's currently got on the field. So they need a few players back that are injured at the moment, like Ryan Harris and James Pattinson, the Pat Cummins as well. He's another option. But all of those guys are, injured quite a lot, and they're Australia's best bowlers outside of Mitch Johnson, who's obviously in the side at the moment. So, the current bowling stocks that are available to the team, I'm not sure if they'll be able to improve them just through selection. So, the depth is probably the issue at the moment. Yeah.
Right.
When injuries hit, it doesn't look like the replacements at the moment are probably good enough to bowl a team out of Pakistan's. Pakistan are the best team in the world, but they're still more than capable of taking advantage of a poor bowling attack. So
definitely, that's right.
So hopefully the Australians can improve. Obviously, we've also had the last few stages of the Matador Cup. We've got the final in the next day or two, I think. Yesterday we had the prelim final 2 days ago we had the prelim final between Queensland and New South Wales. And New South Wales got home just with 2 balls to spare. So they needed 8 off the last 2 overs. So they cut it fine, but they had it fairly, probably under control for most of the time. They didn't really have any outstanding contributors. Their best score for New South Wales was hit an average with 44 runs. So no one really scored a massive total, but everyone sort of contributed in a small way. And New South Wales will play Western Australia in the final at the SCG. So despite WA finishing on top, obviously with the sort of carnival style format for the Matador Cup, most of the matches have been played in New South Wales, so WA doesn't really get that home field advantage. But hopefully they get a better crowd than they've seen at some of the other matches so far for this competition.
Yeah, definitely. And just talking about crowds, do you think if the competition was played at least one team gets at least one home game throughout the season, that would have brought more fans? Because I've been watching quite a few of the games, and as you said, the stands have just been empty. And
Yeah. So I think just the way that the Cricket Australia seem to be wanting to sort of get this tournament over and done with, because their focus is mainly on the Big Bash and the 4-day game. So I'm not sure whether Cricket Australia will ever change the format. I know that I can't remember who. I think it might have been Darren Berry, but one of the players or coaches from the South Australian side was talking about the fact that actually that's right. It was Johan Botham, the captain of the Redbacks, saying that he wanted it to return to the old format, a home and away style fixture instead of just playing all of the matches within the space of 3 weeks at one venue. So, obviously the one-day format is quite important with the World Cup coming up. But the one-day matches don't bring in the money for Cricket Australia. So, if they wanted to increase the profile of the tournament maybe a bit more in regards to attendances, they could have it have as a more of a home and away fixture and spread out over quite a few months. But the way they've got it at the moment, it's probably more suited to TV because Channel 9 is showing quite a lot of the matches. But when you've got Western Australia and Queensland playing matches in Sydney, you're not going to get many people to turn up. So
no. I only said that because I've been watching some matches, but you're only getting one innings, not getting in a lot of games you're only getting one innings and you're missing half an innings, or you're not being able to see your team. So,
I think it's just I think the TV the TV coverage has been pretty good, but it's just obviously from a fan's perspective, not many people want to turn out and watch two teams that you're not really interested in, and especially it does cost money to go to these matches. So I know at the Sheffield Shield it's free for all Sheffield Shield games. It's free entry, but for the Matador Cup, you still do have to buy tickets. So obviously there's that cost towards people not wanting to go. So whether they make it free for people to go, they got to provide some sort of incentive for people to.
Oh, definitely. Well, do you think timing is part of the problem? I don't mean time of the year, but time to play the game, because they seem to be starting them pretty early and finishing them pretty early. Do you think they should start mid-afternoon and have a twilight game?
Yeah, they've had quite a few 9 AM games, finishing at sort of 5 o'clock or so. It's hard to know. I think just the fact that you've got neutral venues or neutral teams playing at a venue that isn't part of their home state, and also with the ticket prices is probably the two main factors. So whether Cricket Australia want to change the format back to the old traditional style, I'm not sure, but I think they seem to have most of their eggs in the Big Bash basket at the moment.
Definitely. And I was just thinking, because where we are here at Ozsports FM, we're located in the city, it'd be great for me just to pop down after work down to LA Local, just cross the bridge and...
Yeah, exactly. It would be nice. We've got a few Sheffield Shield games coming up soon. And as I said, all the Sheffield Shield games are free, so if people wanted to go have a look at the Redbacks for a little bit, they seem to always perform better in the 4-day games. So there's that opportunity for fans to go down and have a look at cricket return to Adelaide Oval with the entire redevelopment complete. But yeah, it would be nice to have the one-day cup, at all venues around Australia, but I don't think that's Cricket Australia's overall strategy.
No. Okay, as you said, we've got the final coming up. It's on today, actually, at 2 p.m. local time. So, your tip?
WA or probably WA. I think they've been the most convincing team this series so far. So, probably tipping them to come on top, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll take a promo and we'll come back and talk about last night. So yesterday afternoon, spot play race.
Chisel on a good night is probably one of the best rock and roll bands in the world.
For nearly 4 decades, Adelaide's Cold Chisel have defined Australian rock and roll. Their last national tour was the biggest ever by an Australian band.
Anybody wants to join in the audience?
Their music, like their appeal, is totally timeless. Check it out.
I left my heart to the disciples round K-Sand. Well, the last way down to Sydney is almost gone. And over 7 flying hours, and I've been in Hong Kong. I've had a beautiful living on the same old merry-go-round. Looking like a quiet girl. Got my cheap wine and a 3-day book. Cheap wine and a 3-day book. It's my turn. They got nothing I want. They got nothing I need. Is this the way it's gonna be forever now? Oh, the flame trees will blind the weary driver. Got the keys to the city, baby. First thing you know, I'll be back in Fall River again. The things I love in you, it's all for you. There are songs in the world, and standing on the outside looking.
Now comes Australia's greatest band, performing the anthems that have become part of Australian culture. Marking their 40th anniversary, Cold Chisel play a once-in-a-lifetime exclusive South Australian performance. Sunday, March 1st, 2015. Clipsal 500 Adelaide is proud to welcome home the legendary Cold Chisel.
Welcome back, everyone. Yesterday we had the Cox Lake, one of the three biggest horse races in Australia, and coincidentally we had the winner was a horse called Adelaide. No link at all to South Australia. It's quite an odd named horse, considering one, it's a male, and two, it's from Ireland. So not sure where they got the name Adelaide from, but anyway, we'll take it as a win here in South Australia. So quite an impressive victory too. We came from basically last in the race, had a poor start from the gate, and Storm came in the end. So a lot of punters who got on board that would have been pretty happy. I think it was about $8 to win, so some fairly good odds, and I think it just shows that the overseas horses are coming up on trumps again. So the local horses aren't able to compete in these big races. So and probably I think we've got a good chance of that happening again at the Melbourne Cup with the favourite Admire Rapke, which won the Caulfield Cup. Looking at the king of the horses at the moment for the biggest race in Australia.
And to talk about that, on the front page of the Sport supplement in today's Sunday Mail, it's got, after foreign raids at Caulfield and Moonee Valley, it's time for Aussie racing to fight back. Big headline, you're not getting our cup, with the Melbourne Cup behind above wire. So, an Aussie horse can take that?
It's not looking likely at the moment. I think we can't really. I think it's hard to say that we don't want an international horse to win it when none of our horses are actually any good enough. So until we start, producing some better staying horses, a lot of these results are going to keep happening like this. So the horses in Japan and Ireland and Dubai are probably just a little bit better than what we've got at the moment. So if they want to improve their results, they're going to have to start training them and putting a bit more effort into the longer races. Because I think Australia seems to breed more horses that are suited to the sprint races, like the ones over sort of 1,000. You know what I mean? So yeah, probably a bit concerning considering all of Australia's most popular races are the ones over sort of 2,000 metres or longer. So a bit of concern, but it's good that the three biggest races here in Australia have such big interest by overseas sort of organisations. So.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll see who wins out in the Melbourne Cup, which happens in probably a week's time now. So the first Tuesday of November. So about 8 days away, and obviously interest in the Melbourne Cup is huge, and as Australians, hopefully we see an Australian horse win it. But the way that it's looking at the moment, the way the Spring Carnival has progressed, I would have to say that probably another international horse is going to take it out.
That's right. And the Melbourne Cup will be, as Henry said, the first Tuesday in November, and it'll be the 4th of November.
Yeah. So we'll take go to a song, and then we'll come back and talk about last night's action in the soccer.
Following my way, you should know I've got no regrets. One day we'll meet again.
Welcome back. We had the sort of unprecedented scheduling of the both the Asian Champions League final, which the Western Sydney Wanderers are a part of, and the Melbourne Derby, which had 43,000 people at the stadium attend for the Melbourne Victory v Melbourne City game, both happening at exactly the same time. So it was very hard to choose which sport I wanted to watch. But I was flicking between channels and running Foxtel Go on my computer so that I could watch both events at the same time. And we'll start off with the Champions League final, and the Wanderers had a crucial 1-0 win in the first leg at home. So they avoided an away goal for the opposition, Al Hilal. So in the second leg, they'll have a good chance of taking out the title, especially if they're able to score an away goal, because that would put them up 2-0, and the Saudi Arabian side would need to score 3 to clinch the win. So the Wanderers have probably got the slight advantage going into the second leg, and it would be a huge moment for an Australian side to win the tournament, Asia's biggest club competition, and obviously Adelaide United made the final about 5 or 6 years ago now, and the Wanderers have got the best chance to go one better, considering Adelaide United got completely thumped in the final 5-0 over 2 legs. So I'm pretty sure the Saudi Arabian side has a massive support. So it's going to be a pretty intimidating atmosphere over in Saudi Arabia, and the stakes are pretty huge because not only do they could they win the Asian Champions League, but the winner would then play in the Club World Cup as well later in the year. So big chance for an Australian side to create some history.
It would be, absolutely.
So in the Club World Cup, they've got the winners of each continental Champions League competition. So the winners in the European Champions League, and the African one, and the one in North America and South America all compete in the same tournament. So the draw was completed about a month ago, and the winner of the Asian Champions League plays the Mexican side in the first round, and then the winner of that match would then play Real Madrid. So if the Wanderers can get up here in the final and then snag a win in the first round of the Club World Cup, they could find themselves playing basically the biggest club in the world, which would be just amazing for Australian soccer. It would be a big sort of turning point for the game here. And obviously we're seeing some fantastic attendances in both for the Champions League final and over in Melbourne. We had 33,000 at Adelaide Oval, 41,000 at the Sydney Football Stadium last week, and the Wanderers played out in front of their record crowd of 20,000 at home. They're the biggest crowd at home for them, and the crowd of 43,000 at Etihad Stadium as well, which the average attendance at the moment in the A-League over 20,000. So they're comfortably beating the NRL's average attendances after about 3 rounds. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that up. Obviously, soccer is really coming along here in this country, and the interest is quite large at the moment, despite the fact that soccer is struggling. But obviously, the Wanderers have got a good chance of building their fan base even more and creating some more interest in Australian soccer overseas as well, if they're able to play, basically the biggest team in the world. So, big opportunity for the Wanderers here.
Oh, absolutely. And just some of the spin-offs from that, if they do get to the Club World Cup, the sponsorship and endorsement.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, a worldwide audience would be watching them. So, there'd be more interest in their players, sponsorship, as you said. Potential players may want to play for them, or on the other hand, we could have international clubs interested in their players and they could, incur big transfer fees. So, but just for the players' opportunity to possibly play Real Madrid, that would be something that would just be, one of the most amazing experiences for any player that just plays in Australia. So, big chance there for the Wanderers. So they got up 1-0, and they were pretty much outplayed in the first half, but the Saudi Arabian side wasn't able to take the chances, and there was an absolutely perfect cross that resulted in the Wanderers' one and only goal in the game. It was a great piece of play and got them the win. Over in Melbourne, Melbourne Victory had a massive win over Melbourne City. They were down 2-1 in the first half, but ended up scoring 4 goals in the second half, and the Melbourne City completely ran out of gas after half time. So Barisha scored a goal on either side of half time, so he scored just before half time and then just after half time, and I think that pretty much knocked the stuffing out of the Melbourne City players and would have left them pretty deflated. So, big win for Melbourne Victory, big crowd, and they go to the top of the ladder at the moment. Later today we've got Adelaide United playing against Perth Glory at Hindmarsh Stadium at 4:30. Adelaide United have got a chance to go to the top of the ladder, or equal top of the ladder, and hopefully they can sort of build on the momentum that they've had so far this season. They got a win in round 1. Obviously they had a draw last week, and they also got a win against Sydney FC in the FFA Cup. So Adelaide United are in the semi-finals of the FFA Cup, and could build their momentum in the A-League as well.
Sorry, just on that, talk about the champion, the FFA Cup.
Yes.
Adelaide City, are they still in?
Yes, yeah, they are. They are playing. I can't remember the team that they're playing. They're playing another non-A-League team. So they play next week, and that'll be on Fox Sports as well. So good chance to check them out. And we could have the opportunity to have 2 South Australian teams in the last 4 of the FFA Cup. So Adelaide City play Bentley Greens away from home. So and the last quarterfinal is between Perth Glory and Melbourne Victory next week. So Adelaide United are already through. Central Coast Mariners won their quarterfinal 5-0 in that competition. So we'll have 3 A-League teams in the semi-finals, and hopefully we could see Adelaide City there as well. So
absolutely,
that'd be great for one of South Australia's most famous teams. Obviously Adelaide City were part of the National Soccer League about 15 years ago.
Just talking about that, there is talk, it's only whispers at the moment, there is talk that Adelaide City want back in to the main game.
Yeah, I think it's different. I'm not sure if you can justify having 2 teams in South Australia at the moment. If Adelaide United were consistently selling out Hindmarsh Stadium, then there might be enough interest to have a second team here. I'm not sure. I mean, most of South Australia is behind Adelaide United, so I'm not sure how you would go with having a second team here. Generally, if you have a second team, you need sort of a bit of point of difference between the 2 teams. We've seen that like in the AFL. Obviously, you've got Port Adelaide, and if you're not a Port Adelaide person, you don't like them. So there's that point of difference between Crows and Port. In Sydney, you've got Western Sydney and Sydney are both obviously different regional areas. So if you live in Western Sydney, you're obviously going to barrack for the Wanderers. So if you had 2 teams who were both based in Adelaide, I'm not sure how that would go in regards to building a supporter base. Obviously Adelaide City already have their own supporter base, but most of those will probably be barracking for Adelaide United as well, I would gather. So whether they could, I don't think there would be enough reasons to back them in the national competition. whether they will be able to justify themselves in any sort of potential reserves league, or like second division, like we see overseas. I know the AFC, the Asian Football Confederation, have been pushing for the A League to have a second division and introduce promotion and relegation. So whether Adelaide City would ever be part of maybe that second competition, I'm not really sure. But I don't think a second division is sort of going to occur anytime soon. So speaking of soccer in South Australia as well, there was a report in the paper a few days ago about Adelaide United potentially playing Liverpool. Last week we talked about Liverpool playing Sydney FC or Western Sydney at ANZ Stadium, and we could have that happening here in South Australia as well. It seems as though it's almost a foregone conclusion that it will occur as well. So I think most of the parties involved in making this happen have said that it's pretty much confirmed that this is going to go ahead. So we could see 53,000 at Adelaide over next year with a complete sea of red. Obviously, both teams, Adelaide United and Liverpool, both wear red.
Yes.
So the entire stadium would have to seem to be just a sea of colour, and the atmosphere would be electric as well. So good chance to boost the economy here in the country and get some more overseas sort of exposure for Adelaide United. I think the funny thing about that game would probably be that Liverpool would probably play in their home shirt about, to show the, because it would mostly be a Liverpool, event. Even though Adelaide United, the home team here, having Liverpool here would be the main attraction. So we could see Adelaide United play in their away kit at home as well. So that'll be quite a funny experience.
It will be, definitely.
But it'd be a great occasion. Last year they had 95,000 at the MCG when Liverpool played Melbourne Victory. So as I mentioned, Liverpool are the main attraction. So at that game, even though Melbourne Victory were the home team, the MCG was basically just a complete sea of Liverpool supporters. So it would be great attraction and would be comfortably the biggest soccer event that's happened here in this state so far. So hopefully that goes ahead next year.
Oh, definitely, fingers crossed. And is Never Walk Alone their theme song?
Yes, that's sort of their even on their club logo as well. So you have to think they would probably bring around that logo.
That would make your hair on your arms stand up. That would be awesome. Yep.
So we'll go into a break and then we'll come back and talk about last night's Four Nations matches between Australia and New Zealand.
In the heat of the action, every choice you make has a huge impact.
You've got to make the right decisions. If you want to be a game changer,
you can't afford to take unnecessary risks
or rush into something that you might regret.
Whether you're in heavy traffic
or you've got room to move,
you still have to be in complete control.
Just one decision, one small thing,
one lapse in concentration,
and your whole world could change.
Last night at Suncorp Stadium, among the multiple sporting events that were going on at the time, cricket, the two soccer events, and we also had the two Four Nations events. So the leading game was between England and Samoa, and England just snuck over the line there by about 6 points, I believe. There was already a pretty big turnout at Suncorp Stadium before the main game. And the New Zealand quarter caused a massive ball over Australia, winning 30 points to 12. So I'm aware that the Australian team entered with a pretty young squad. So obviously going in there with a new era for the team. So a little bit concerning though that they got basically completely overrun in the end. So Australia scored the first. Australia led 12 points to 6, and then conceded the next 24 points to 0. So, pretty convincing victory for New Zealand there, and I think it's probably one of Australia's first losses against them since they lost the World Cup final about 3 or 4 years ago. So, pretty big result there, and I think the ARU would be the Australian Rugby League or National Rugby League would be pretty well. They'd be disappointed with the result. They would be pretty pleased with the crowd having 47,000 people there. I know most of the representative interest in rugby league is the state of origin, but to have basically a capacity crowd there for the international matches as well would be pretty pleasing for the national body, I would say.
This match would have to be, especially when Australia plays New Zealand, would be pretty well matched because you'd have players that play against the Australian players during the NRL season.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so they know each other's games pretty well.
Across all 4 teams as well, like even the Samoan side seem to have almost their entire team would play in Australia as well. So clearly the NRL is the overwhelmingly dominant league for that sport. Obviously not many countries play it, so it's probably only really played in maybe 4 or 5 countries properly. And the NRL is clearly the biggest league out there. So a lot of the players would know each other. All of the players would know each other really. So, but Australia is clearly the biggest team. I think their head-to-head record with New Zealand is about 90 wins to 20. So they've won, over 80% of the all matches between the 2 teams. So pretty big upset, and it'll be interesting to see if Australia can turn that result around in the upcoming matches. Australia play England next up, and then they will play Samoa on November 9th. So looking at the schedule here, it doesn't look like Australia get to play New Zealand again. So maybe it's just only 1 match each against each team in that competition. So New Zealand will have to be in the box seat now, considering they've knocked off the favourites for that tournament. So
they are definitely.
So there's still a few more matches to go, and Australia play England at Amy Park on November 2. Their final game is at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong. So you'd have to think they'd get a pretty good crowd in Melbourne. Melbourne love their sport. Pretty much go to any sporting event over there. So it should get probably 30,000 that match. And we'll see who comes out on top in the end. But you don't think New Zealand will be in the box seat. So,
definitely.
Let's take a break and go into a song, and then we'll finish off with yesterday's Gridiron SA box.
On the leaves of sun.
Yeah, back on Ozsports FM with Henry and myself, Darren. It's a very good morning to everyone out there. And our final sports topic today is yesterday's South Australian gridiron results held down at the beautiful Victoria Park. And there was 2 games, as there are every Saturday. First game saw the Uni SA Eagles seal a pulsating 20-6 win over the South City Chiefs with a 4-yard touchdown runner from Damien Vola. Eagles running back Ian Nolte rushes for 308 yards and 2 touchdowns in a match which had it all. And that score again was 20-6 in favour of the Uni SA Eagles. And in the second game of the weekend, it was the Eastside Razorbacks, and they still remain undefeated with a comfortable 35-14 win over the Southern District Oilers. And we must thank our Ozsports' very own Chris Guscott for his weekly and gridiron coverage and his play-by-play coverage. We appreciate Chris doing that for us. And gridiron, make sure you get down to Victoria Park each Sunday. First game kicks off at 1 and then the second game kicks off at 4. If you're down in beautiful Adelaide, make sure you get down to Victoria Park for 2 excellent gridiron games each week. Well, on behalf of myself and Henry, it's been another really good show.
Hopefully everyone can tune in next week. Don't forget to check out the website and the Facebook page and the Twitter account as well. Just search Ozsports FM and you should be able to find it pretty comfortably. So, see you all next week. Thanks.
Thank you.